So we are lucky enough to be joined by Jack Sweeney himself. We talked about him a couple times here on this show, and he has agreed to join us, answer some questions, give us hopefully some insight into his thought process and sort of how we ended up where we're at right now. A little bit of background. Jack Sweeney is behind the popular Twitter account ElonJet, which, by the way, props on the name. I find that to be quite a compelling,
Yeah.
quite a compelling Twitter handle. uh, and uh, and yeah, so like I said, I think a lot of people are hearing about you right now. Maybe you can give me a little background into how you got involved in this.
I've been an Elon fan since like 2018, I'd say. And, I just followed everything SpaceX and Tesla. And I knew he had a private jet, and I had some aviation knowledge and a little bit of coding experience. Then COVID came, and I had the idea for a while, and then I just finally started messing around with it and started to create the Twitter bot.
Yeah, that's how a lot of projects were launched. COVID let people sort of that were intrigued with something really dive deeply into it, having a little extra time on their hands. So you weren't into programming prior to this, or
I was, but I only took like the basic stuff, and I only knew some basic Python, and I just started looking stuff up pretty much.
right? It's amazing what you can figure out on the internet. All right,
Yeah.
so you happen to land. I mean, like a lot of people, you're interested in Elon and Tesla and SpaceX. I mean, he has this tremendous following, specifically on Twitter, 70 million plus followers. There's many people who talk about and speculate and follow all the movements of Elon Musk, but you took it to another level in the sense that you were able to provide some degree of precision over his travel by making, I mean, obviously not by creating this information, but by sort of formatting in such a fashion that would be easier to follow along.
Yeah.
So do you want to just describe, because like this is, I think, where some of the confusion exists with some of the people who are.
Yeah, so all this data is like public. The planes transmit with their transponders all the information, and you don't need, if you're just in your local area, you don't even need a website. You could just have your own equipment to do it. But if you want it across the world, you got to get data from companies that are all receiving it across the world. So I get it from an open network ADSB exchange, and I get all that data and analyze it in the code I wrote, and then it posts it to Twitter.
So when you say you get all that data, this is not something that you have to pay for. It's just publicly available.
Yeah. So originally that network, if you gave them data from your local area, you would get free access. But now they don't really do that anymore, and now I'm kind of like friends with the owners, so we kind of work together on certain things.
Oh, I see. And so would
Yeah.
that platform, would that be global? Are they tracking flights globally?
Oh yeah, 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 they are.
Okay, that's cool.
If you can actually go to their website if you want to see it, and you'll see like the world map.
wow, that's amazing. So
Yeah.
does that mean that they have to have physical equipment set up globally in order to
Well,
receive these
so it's
signals?
like contributors. Like I have one at my house that gives them data within like 100 miles.
Oh,
So and
wow.
then all kinds of people do this. Like, have you ever heard about the Raspberry Pi,
Yeah, of
the
course.
little computer? Yeah. So
Absolutely.
like all these companies, people use those, and then with a little antenna basically, and
That's
it
it.
picks it up
It acts.
and
It
sends it
behaves
over
as
the
a
internet.
receiver reaching out and looking for these signals that are being transmitted from aircraft.
Yeah.
Okay, so then to what degree of precision or confidence can you say, hey, when something gets posted on ElonJet, this is absolutely Elon Musk's movements or that jet's movements? With what degree of precision?
Oh yeah, as long as it's the transponder code, which is what my program looks for, it's definitely the jet.
Now, isn't it possible though that he could switch jets, or that
Oh yeah,
there
yeah,
would be
yeah.
many corporate jets that they would have?
See, SpaceX actually has three. and the other two are like older and they're not as nice. And from what I've seen, he wants to stick to the G650ER.
Nice. Yeah, I looked up photos
Yeah,
of it after I saw some of your posts. I wanted to check out the interior. You're right. It is definitely a
yeah.
place that looks kind of like a relaxing spot to travel in. Okay, so this thing starts out, you've got an interest in this. You start to pick up some steam and you start to get a lot of followers and way more attention. That's how obviously how we found out about it.
Yeah.
And then at some point, Elon decides it's not the type of attention that he wants, correct?
Yeah, and I even remember, I think you guys did a video on it, or you talked last year about it when he flew to Hawaii.
That's
And
right.
funny enough, last year he responded to it and he didn't really care, but now it's big enough that he thinks it's a concern.
So he
Yeah,
reached this. Oh,
so
go ahead.
he reaches out to me when like I'm about to go to sleep. I see the direct message. It's like, this is a security risk. Can you take it down? And then we talk about it, and he asks me what he should do, and like I tell him about some other blocking programs, and then he offers me the 5,000 if I help him to make it harder for crazy people to track him. He said, and if I take down that account.
And at this point when he gives first of all, Elon Musk jumping into your DMs when you're about to go to bed has got to be a pretty significant experience.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
See, and but then when he asks you to take it down, at that point, what kind of feelings are you having? Are you conflicted? Are you thinking to yourself, okay, maybe I should, or are you completely hardened, thinking, hey, this is information that's available?
I mean, at the time I was considering it, but for like how much I've done with it and how much work I put into it, it's not enough to like get rid of for only 5,000. That's not like a good enough deal for me to change my life enough,
And
you
wouldn't the
know?
concern be then that even if you were to receive the 5,000, wouldn't the concern on his end be that somebody else could just do exactly what you're doing?
See, I think so, but I don't think anybody would like go as far as like how far the plane is blocked already, and they'd have to be pretty into it like me to do it now.
Well, no, I mean, I guess what I'm trying to say is you had some sort of a counteroffer. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you wanted $50,000.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm just if some other 19-year-old were to say, hey, that 50 grand looks pretty attractive, then they may be willing to put the attention into something because they've seen the what is it? The precedent has taken place.
Yeah.
It could be encouraging to others to just boot up a similar
Yeah, I see that.
type of thing. So I would assume that he would be concerned that the amount of press you would get for getting the 50,000 would then act as encouragement for a bunch of other people that would
Yeah, yeah.
go and do the same thing. So have you had any communication with Elon after this exchange?
So that went on for a while, and then this whole thing went on Twitter where this other guy said he would stop posting other like travel plans that Elon was going to have, and Elon said that was a security concern, and people were like, "Oh, ElonJet should be taken down." And then reporters like started asking me about stuff, so I told them about the whole Elon messages, and then I think Sunday night he blocked me on all three of the accounts, the SpaceX jets, ElonJet, and then my own Twitter.
So this is this past Sunday, like
Yeah, I
recently?
think,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
And I would have to assume that that would in some way affect your ability to reach people because you would be posting under a lot of his posts. Is that correct?
No, I don't like try to like do anything. Like it's just, I don't ever tag him in anything.
Oh, okay. So then what would the effect or impact be to you of having been blocked by him?
Nothing really. I mean, he's just not happy.
Right. Okay. So it's just an
Yeah.
indication, and probably, I guess, it's some degree of shutdown on the potential for correspondence directly. Like you're not going to be DMing each other I would assume, after this.
Yeah.
Okay, so going forward, then it seems to me that you're not planning on slowing down or stopping. Is there anything that could happen that would change your mind on that outside of $50,000?
Yeah, just some kind of good offer like that, pretty much, or some kind of legal thing. But I don't think that's going to happen. It's public data.
Right. Is that something you've looked into, the legality of this? Is there any way that you could be
So
liable?
the police department actually contacted me today, and they were like, "Has anybody been harassing you?" They were just wondering, and they were like, They don't see any way that I could get in trouble for any of this."
Would that be the local police department or federal?
My university police.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Have you personally had any offers to turn this into anything else? Like, do you have a place that you envision taking this? I know it's grown recently in
Yeah, I
number of
mean, like, it
followers.
would be cool to create like a website where people could also get notifications, and I could put like ads on the website or something,
Uh,
or like subscriptions.
Now, do you feel any personal sense of responsibility when it does come to Elon's privacy, or when it does come to potential risks associated with publishing this information?
Yeah, a certain amount, but you go when you're like flying like a private jet, um, you're going right from the jet to like you're walking right down into the car. He has a security team, and the car gets there ahead of time and all that. So like I don't feel like there's that much risk.
And then the most recent development, and I think we talked about this last episode. The most recent development is that you are now also interested in tracking plenty of other billionaires' travel activities and their jets, similar to ElonJet. But you and I talking prior to filming this, you gave me a little bit of backstory there that maybe some of those articles are not exactly accurate.
Yeah, no. So like if you go on my Twitter list that shows all my accounts and you go look at those accounts, it'll show when those accounts were created. And that was at least like 4 months or more ago that I created all those.
Right. So it's a thing that you've been
Yeah.
doing for a while now. It just so happens that the Elon one is the most popular, I suppose.
Yeah.
So who are some of the other billionaire jets that you have accounts for?
Jeff Bezos, Bill Gates, Trump. Um, I think those are like most of the top priority like highest ones.
The
Yeah.
other thing,
There's more. I also have a Discord where stuff gets more detailed. Like it also sends information to Discord, and in the Discord, there's more people, and besides just like the landing and takeoff information, it also will show like the autopilot settings and what the pilot puts in.
whoa.
Yeah, because all that gets transmitted too.
There's there was a post that you put recently on your Twitter account about some unusual patterns or flight paths that you had seen, where it would look almost like a test flight or something, like something was being tested out.
Yeah, so I mean, uh, the one on ElonJet, right?
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, so that was the second time that happened, and it's pretty weird. Like it wasn't someone like just t test flying, like, and I've seen they've also been like filing, from what I've seen, flight plans that were like completely just fake, and they're not even like following. So like before he got this blocking program last week, they were they're flying to Hawthorne or from Austin, and it's like saying like Philadelphia or something. But they've stopped doing that, but they keep putting fake ones in that they aren't actually doing.
Wow. So you think that this is something that you have personally caused for them to go through this
Oh yeah,
process
yeah,
of
yeah,
attempting to spoof their whereabouts?
yeah,
Wow. It's all very interesting. I mean,
yeah.
if the information is available, and there's probably a whole bigger conversation around whether it should or shouldn't be. It's an uncommon thing because there's only so many people that own private jets, and there's only so
Yeah.
many people with enormous followings that own private jets, and so it's kind of it's a little bit strange in that sense. Obviously, it makes him uncomfortable to a certain degree. You're sitting there saying, well, there's no reason why I can't do this. You're looking for a better offer. What is your optimal what is your optimal outcome
any
here?
anything I asked for already, and then I take it down. And here's the funny thing. I think Elon is really trying to get it down, but like you said, I don't think he wants to do it himself. And I got some offers from other people, and I think he's trying to go through other people or friends. Yeah,
So that it happens quietly and that you don't disclose the actual amount so it doesn't encourage other
yeah,
copycats to do the same thing.
yeah,
Very interesting times. Well, listen, thank you so much for jumping on here. I mean,
yeah,
it's
of course.
obviously the best way to learn about things is to talk directly to the people involved whenever possible. So that's quite an opportunity for us. We'll be following along. I'm sure this will not be the last clip on the subject.
Yeah, probably not.
Maybe you can even come back on here if anything develops, and we can get an
Okay.
update on the
Yeah,
happenings. So thanks again.
yeah, no problem.